Hello again, brothers and sisters in Christ. Pastor Mike here. Welcome to the Midweek Meditation. We're looking forward to July 11th, that Sunday, what's going on there. But even before looking ahead, looking back, it was a wonderful 4th of July. I don't know about you all, but the weather was beautiful for the parade on the 3rd. The ice pops handed out went well. The walkers were great. It was just a fantastic morning. Church was good as well. It was a good 4th of July. And I think it was really nice, especially getting back to it. So thank you to everybody that was around, participated in all the stuff over the weekend. It was just great. And even as we move forward, hopefully, with school starting up and all those other things, all the other stuff, getting back to it, we'll also have that wonderful feeling to it. So hopefully everybody is staying cool. Hopefully everybody is doing okay. Yeah, I know from my end, last week I was off for a good bit of time just trying to take care of stuff. There is always a lot of stuff that needs to get done, and that's kind of the first thing on my mind for the midweek meditation. This summer, definitely remember to take the breaks and to rest. I didn't rest as much as I should last week when I was off for good portions of time. I tried to get all those projects done. I went hard, and I went against my own pastoral wisdom of taking time to rest. So I'm doubling down to remind folks, take that time to recuperate. It might seem weird to have me say, well, take time to recuperate. And say, Pastor, we were just kind of locked down for a year. But the actual stress and anxiety and all those things take a toll. And even sometimes the anxiety of forced inaction needs rest afterwards. Sounds weird to say that, but maybe the best way to put it is, I don't know if you've ever been on a long car trip. They're exhausting. You're literally sitting in the car, but that cooped upness of it all, you're just like, I need to be done. This is too much. I still remember my favorite example of just the stress of it is the middle child. He, when he was younger, had a bad habit of when car trips are going on too long, he would work himself into a tizzy, and he would see something and he'd swear he'd seen it before. And I remember a couple instances of him screaming in the back, I saw that before. We're going in circles. We're just going in circles. We're getting nowhere. Because the car ride was just too much for him. I think the car ride of COVID is over in some ways. So definitely take the time to recuperate. That's my first meditation on that. And the second is the texts for this Sunday are interesting one. There's a lot going on in them. And there's a major theme and then there's a minor theme. And I think on Sunday I'm going to talk about the minor theme. But the major theme, I think, is something that needs to come across. There's two interesting texts. Well, they're all interesting, but you know what I mean. There's the Amos text, which is the Old Testament, and then there's the Gospel text. And both of them involve a prophet and some pushback. So Amos is this interesting individual. He's a farmer, and he is called by the Lord using this weird plumb line vision to go speak that Israel has gone too far, and the good Lord's going to need to check them. You need to check them and try to get them back where they need to be. They had been done some habitual line stepping over the ways of the Lord. And so he goes and prophesies. And he gets a lot of pushback from the kings. They're like, do not ever come back here. Bethel's off limits to you, Amos. Even though Amos is speaking the truth, he's speaking from the Lord. He's speaking what needs to be heard. It's, in many ways, the prophets are maybe spiritual interventionists. The Lord is seeing what you're doing. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for the community. It's not healthy for you. It might feel good to be a jerk at the moment, but you're really wrecking everything, and you need to stop, even if you don't want to. And a lot of people in those interventions, those checks, they don't like it. John the Baptist has that moment. Herod's over the line. Herod has all these problems. And you hear the story of how John is checking Herod in the name of the Lord, and all of a sudden they cut his head off. I mean, he gets killed. In many ways, the prophet work is dangerous. To speak to a person what is necessary, what is healthy, but they don't want to hear. And that's true today as well. There are many unhealthy aspects of what we do as individuals and as a world, as a country. And people don't like the check of, that's not healthy, man. That's not okay. That's dangerous to you. That's dangerous to others. It might feel good. You might feel right. You might feel perfect. You might feel totally empowered that I can do what I want when I want it and nobody can tell me otherwise. But here's the rub. Oftentimes, the most important thing the Lord sends to us is that prophetic check. You're out of line. You're over. You are doing too much. It's, like getting pulled over for speeding sometimes. You're dangerous. You're out of control. You can't handle it. It's like those moments where, somebody skids on the road into the snowbank and you thank the Lord nobody was hurt, but hopefully reminds them to drive better on the snow. It's not a NASCAR speedway out there. This is important. What are we spiritually invested in that maybe the good Lord is pushing at us to say, not so good? Are we spending too much time being angry? Are we spending too much time being frustrated? Are we not spending enough time being grounded and healthy in what we need to be? And I think one of the themes of our lessons is this checking. I just always have used that term, where even with friends, when they were getting out of line or being jerks in a group, sometimes you had to check them. Be like, nah, man, we don't do this. May this week, and even maybe this summer as we recuperate, listen for the prophetic call of what needs to be changed. And don't automatically fight back. That's maybe the subset of it. Criticism, we always hear and we want to resist. I know some folks that are editors. Editors are great people. Editors are necessary people. But they're going to critique someone's writing and to make it better. Most authors are so invested in what they're writing, they get upset and say, no, it's got to be this way. You don't understand. The editor has that hard, compassionate job of saying, no, I get you. I know you care about this work. I care about you in this work. But as somebody outside of that little reality, what you're writing there don't make a lick of sense. You're not communicating what you need to. What I think you're doing here is this, and I think this would be a better way of doing it. That is the piece of the check that I think we also need to understand, is that it is not a negative, but it is a positive, a redemptive reality, and that we need to learn to start hearing in communities as individuals when somebody brings a critique. Oftentimes when it's not angry. It's funny when somebody's yelling at you like, hey, you're a jerk. That's not a critique. That's not a criticism. That's them reacting. But if somebody says, hey, man, I don't necessarily know if that's the best way of handling the situation, I think our human reaction is to say, no, be quiet. I know what I'm doing, as opposed to, well, tell me more. And to, in many ways, wisely and soberly contemplate what they're actually saying, because they might make sense. I know as a pastor, I'm deeply concerned with people's spiritual well-being, but in today's culture, it gets very difficult for me to connect and say, hey, maybe you should think about this. Because all of the reactions of, no, pastor, you don't get it, make it a little bit difficult. I'm not saying I'm always perfect. I'm not saying I'm always right. That's why I often say I can give you perspective. I can't give you answers. But oftentimes, even the perspectives that disagree with us can give us wisdom. Those are my thoughts on the works of the prophets, the pushback that they get, and even the beheading that John gets. There is an important Christian reality to realize that sometimes we might have to bear the hard word or the check, and we should always do it out of love of the person, not out of self-righteousness. And the second is that if somebody out of love and care, family, community, those sorts of things, is there to check us and say, maybe you're over the line, man, that we should compassionately listen, not automatically agree, but to give them the time to honor their compassion, to hear what they have to say. Just some stuff for the midweek meditation. Blessings, brothers and sisters in Christ. May you be able to see how the hand of God is guiding you this week. Talk to you later. Blessings, brothers and sisters. Bye now.